Okay, welcome to the advanced coding class today. Let's look at before we start anything, let's look at last week homework. Who've done the homework, raise your hand, please. Anyone doing any homework? Okay, you could not do the homework. Okay, anyone else? Apart from Dev, who have tried, which is great. Gina, great work, unless you try. So we just have a function that prints there. Good, you tried, I'm very happy. Jerry, maybe the content is a bit advanced, so people start dropping off because as I said, this is your advanced coding class, right? So we don't teach advanced stuff. So if it's too hard, you might join the junior coding class. All right, let's start. Print. Let's attempt the homework, okay? So a function starting with def. This is called function name, print student function name. Student details is, we call it parameters, okay? And then what you're gonna do is print name. You do it like this. Print name. Name is a string. H is a number. And then O is a string. S is percentage S is string. And then phone is a string. Then /n is new line. So you print one string per line, okay? Got name. H. Cool. Then that will be phone number. Then you call that function 5 times. In. Zero. Print student. Time. And you have to make sure that student have 5. Oh. A lot of typing, guys. It's better you have a laptop. You have a laptop, it's much better to do this work. In an iPad, you might struggle. Okay, so what they do, we have student, it's a list of 3 students, okay? 5 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 students. Each student will have name, age, school, and phone number. What you do is you say, you pass in the student details, you type, name is a string, age is a number, school is a string, phone is a string, number is a string. And then you pass in student name here is called keywords. Okay. So student detail with the key name, which is the first one will be there. The second one will be age. I need this is dictionary. Each of these is a dictionary. Okay. And then you got age, and then you got school, and you got phone number. Let's see how does it work. I don't know, should work. Here we go. You got some syntax error. So we had to find out. It is very normal that we have, when you do coding, it is very normal that you have school. So key error school. So I must have something that is not correct. School, 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 school. Here. I missed out the square bracket here in the case. All right, run again. Open, doesn't match with the closing. This is the one. You see all the things that red underlined there? We have problems. I don't know why we have two. We should have only one here. So I add an extra square bracket here. There you go, it works. Because I go here, I print this twice, so I shouldn't do that. Then I just go here, print. Then that's it. You have something nice. Actually, I might not need. So you print out all the students, name, age, that's it. Okay, so this is homework. Database of 5 students, which is here. This is a dictionary type, at least. Each of them is dictionary. We create a function. Create a function, print student. You pass in the student as a dictionary. We print them out. We call a function. We call them 5 times. Anyone have any questions? Raise your hand. All good? All right, I print this. I put this into the chat.
Recording in progress.
It did not print in chat. Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand why. Copy, paste. Okay. All right, I printed to the chat. Make sure it's okay. Everyone can do it. I give everyone 5 minutes to look at it, and then we're going to start the next lesson. If you have any questions, raise your hand. I'll try to sort it out for you. Thank you, Esther. Yes, it's got cut off because of the character limit. I just bring them again. I hope everyone okay. It should work unless you have some. Okay, I will copy and paste. Copy. So this is the top part. Second part. Just do it. It should work, everyone. Let me know if it doesn't work. I sort something out. I give everyone another few minutes. All right, I'll be back shortly. You have any question, put in the chat. Everyone got a few minutes to play around with it, try to understand the concept. Today we will learn a little bit more on function, because function is probably the most important concept. Hello, I'm back, everyone. Is anyone having issue or everyone's good? Good job. Good job, Dev. Okay, pp print. If you want to use, you can do like this. This is from last week, so that's all you need. So this is how you can use it. You can print them. But then this is from last week. If you don't do pp print, you just do like this. Let's say if you don't do pp pretty print, you just do print. And it's gonna be really fun. It's really fun. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yes, you can do multiple pp prints if you want. So you do pp print dot pp print. That's a next concept. It's called modules. Okay. So I think you finished with this lesson. We create a new one. Sorry. Now, sorry, we go here. Create REPL. This is lesson 5. Okay, we will continue our function because it's important. I want to make sure everyone understand our function. Okay, function. Okay, this is my function. Okay, so this is called a function, right? Function starting with def. Add is a function name. And then they will have a bracket, opening bracket. And you got these called parameters. So I should type here, def means function. Add function name. Okay. And then param1 is parameters. Okay. And the function will return. This is called return the sum. So this function will have a return value. Okay, so this is called a function. So function will have a always starting with def, and then followed by function name. And then you put parameters. And then you always have a column here. And then inside the function, you have to be indented block. So anything within that indented block is anything inside that indented block is part of the function. So it's part of that function. And then the function, they can return nothing or they can return something. So that called return value. Now, and then you can say add 100, 200, 300, print what to do. This is how you call a function. You just call function by function name, and the function takes 3 input parameters. You have to supply them 3, and then return. Let's run it. See, add 100 plus 200 plus 300. The result is 600. Anyone have question? Okay, now I have a function have a thing called default parameters. So if a default parameter, the default parameters is the third. The default parameters say if we don't supply that parameters, they will use the default value. Let's say in here, we supply only 2 parameters. Here they take 3 parameters. What does they return? 600. Why? Because we supply the first one corresponding to parameter 1, the second one the parameter 2, the third one is parameter 3. Parameter 3, we don't need to supply them because otherwise they use the thing called default values. So they will take a 300 as a default value. So if I do, can anyone guess what is the result value? Yes, Adam, good. It's 800. Let's try. It's 800. That's great. Okay, now let's say you, what else do you? In function, okay, an empty function. An empty function is the function that doing nothing. So in here, if you want to do an empty function, you just call a statement called pass. That's it. Okay, and then you call print. Empty function will do nothing and return a none. So when you print it, it's just an empty function. It is why we need that. Why we need an empty function? We do need an empty function because we try to design something, right? We just have a function like print function, and then when you design a program, and then you do to calculate then you have another function called let's say you do a chess game. Let's say in a chess play, you have print, you have calculate, and then you do some chess play. You just do a skeleton of all the function that you want to design. Yeah. But then in the end, after you design everything, you can start filling the function. That's why we should need a pass. Okay, there's another advanced concept. They call recursion. Anyone know what it recursive function is? Anyone know what is recursive function? Anyone try? Okay, recursive function like this. Okay, I can okay, recursive function. Let's say if you have anyone know anyone know what is factorial is? Factorial is like this, okay? Let's say it's a perfect example of using recursive function. Okay. Let's say factorial, what does it mean is factorial of n is equal to n times n minus 1 n minus 2 and times 1 at the end, right? For example, yes, correct. Yes, perfect example. Let's say 5 factorial is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? So if you do here, 5, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 120, that's called factorial. Okay, if you do a function, it's not a recursive function, it's extremely hard to write this. Why? Because if let's say if you pass in a factorial of 10, you have to do 10 times 9 times 8. And because you pass in the factorial of n, you don't even know what n number is. So it's extremely hard. Let's say you do a factorial, write me a function called calculate a factorial of 5. Then you have to manually say 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. But then they say, okay, but then I want 10. That's where it's very hard to do. But then that's why you need thing called recursive function. Recursive function is like this. You can do n if you can do a function if n greater than 1, return n times n minus 1. You see the whole function of factorial like this, and then print of d is d, and then you do that will be 5. And then you do factorial of 5. Oh, I missed. It's getting a bit complicated, but then that's why you can appreciate the function of factorial. Okay. Line 13. Because we design a bracket. So green. All right. Work first. It's not working. Brand greater than 1. Result. There you go. So the function say this is, and then let's say you try factorial 10. What does it come out to? Wow, it's correct. Like, who put it here? Esther. Yes, 10 factorial is like this. So this is a very simple function, but extremely powerful. What does it mean? How do we do it? Because we say, all right, if it's still greater than 1, because n factorial will be like n factorial is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3. So essentially, what it means is that will be n times factorial of n minus 1. That's what it is. That's why we call recursive like this. We say if the result will be, we don't care what it is, I just say it's n times factorial of n minus 1. That's it. This is like, imagine you do how many lines? The actual line of code, 1, 2, 3, 4 line of code, and then you can calculate a factorial of any numbers here. Isn't that amazing? It is absolutely amazing. It's called recursive, using recursive function. What they say here, they say, okay, I don't know what's the result is, but I want factorial of n is n, and give me the factorial of n minus 1. What does it go? A function of 10. What is, if you pass 10 in, we say, what does it do? Okay, the first round will be n times factorial of 9. And then, because you call a function again, factorial of 9 equal to 9 times factorial of 8. So the first round will be, if you pass in factorial of 10, imagine if you want to understand what this do, let's say it's 10 equals to factorial 9. And then the next one will be 9. Because factorial of 9 will be 8, 10 times 9, then 8. Essentially, that's what it is. If you try to understand, but the whole factorial thing you can do in 4 lines of code. Let's say. And now you can do, let's say, factorial of 6. 6 That will be 720, I would say. Yeah, see? 8, it's about a few thousand. Essentially, you write a 4 line of code, you can work out a very complicated operation factorial of a number. 4 line of code using the concept called recursive function. Okay, I copy into the chat. I explained to you nearly all the aspects of function. You've got default parameters, function, return, empty function, and recursive function. I think that should be enough for today. You got empty function, you have parameter, you got function name, you got recursive function, empty function. Okay, I think that's all the major concept that I want you to learn about function. I copied the code into the chat. It's a pretty cool thing. Okay, Dev. It is quite an advanced concept. We call recursive function. What recursive function say? Okay, in here you say factorial, right? What they say is if the result, if the number is still greater than 1, return. The result will be the number times the factorial of that number minus 1. So if you pass 10 here, you just say 10 times the factorial of 9. Because you see these factorials, that same function is called again, right? So you got a function called within that function definition. That's called recursive. Recursive, what does it mean? Recursive means that function is called within the function definition. So let's say you got a function x from 1, and you can do like this, pass, and then you call another function. What does it mean? So you call a function, you call a function within a function. This is very, it's a bit my twisting. It's a bit hard to understand. Because you define a function, right? You define a function, but during that define function, you call not the same, you call the same one. And you got a function def, and we say, what function def doing? Inside that function def, you call another function def. It's like, yeah, well, just do this until it's finished, until that's it. That's called recursive. So we keep recursive calling it. So if this factorial, what does it do? Is you got 10 times a factorial of 9. Essentially, that's what it means. So because you got factorial, right? You got 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6. So essentially, it means factorial of 10 is 10 times factorial of 9. That's it. what it means. Factorial of 10 equal to 10 times factorial of 9. Essentially, that's what we put here. Factorial of n number equal to factorial of n times factorial of n minus 1. So 10 equal to factorial of 9. That's what it means. And they keep recursive code. It just work out by itself. That's pretty cool. It's a hard concept to understand, but it's pretty cool. It's very powerful if you do explain. Do you understand it? If you do understand it, it's very interesting. So you know why we need an empty function? Mainly to create a skeleton of a program when you design a program. And then you got a recursive function. When a very complex problem can be solved in only a few lines of code. That's called recursive function. That's what the powerful recursive function. That's it, everyone. Right, I don't know if we should do, I think homework, maybe I quickly do a homework. Right, let's see. What do we do? Let me see. I try to give an example. Try something that is not too extremely hard. Not too hard. Which one do we do? Anyone know Fibonacci? Anyone know Fibonacci sequence? Do you know what Fibonacci sequence is? I try to give a Fibonacci sequence. Okay. All right. That's a good thing for you. Google is your best friend. Okay. To print. Okay. Okay, just jobs. Google Fibonacci. You need to understand that. I put it to the chat and write a function. Okay. All right, that's it, everyone. I hope you not very overloaded with some advanced concept. If you can understand them, you should really proud of yourself. You're doing really great job. Thank you, and I see you next week.
So long.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Not so long. So long.